Hi, my name's John. If you're here watching my videos, tap the subscribe button in the lower right hand corner. If you like my videos, hit the bell icon so you can get notifications for new videos. And at the end of the video, you can hit the icon in the center and also subscribe to my channel. Okay, I'm here at my shop today and I've got the Nova here in front of me. I've cut the piece off of my Nova that I need, off of my spare Nova that I need to repair this one. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you what I got here. Okay, so I cut this out of my parts Nova and I cut it in such a way where I can stay close to curves, where I don't have such a long flat stretch to repair, except for right here. This is the one I'm gonna have to be really careful on. That is not a straight cut on purpose, but it goes all the way to about 4 inches ahead of the back, and then it's about 1.5 inches, maybe an inch and a half from the door. And that gets it closer to them bends, so it will be easier to cover up with Bondo. You know, I've got a hard surface that's not gonna flex as much as, say, right here. And then I got it as close to that as I could. So, you know, I've got a place, if it caves in like it did up here, then it'll be easier to work out. Same thing with right there. I can get in there from the inside and not have to work around all the window mechanism. But I think I've watched a ton of videos online. There's several guys that, you know, I watched that I've picked up some stuff from, you know, Bad Chad and Make It Custom and stuff like that, on how to keep my welds cool, which I'll be honest, in that first one I didn't. You know, I thought, well, you weld here and then you weld 6 inches away and then you weld 6 inches, and you just do that and then you start over and do it again. And I didn't realize that, okay, you weld here, you weld 6 inches here, you weld here, you're at the top, weld here, weld here, weld here, go on, you know, on down 6 inches, and then you come back and you weld, you know, and then you get it where they're like 1 inch apart. Well, I didn't realize that you were supposed to let that cool off in between. So it just sat there and got warmer and warmer and warmer. And that's how I ended up with these low spots. You know, the ones on the end aren't too bad. This one right here is kind of janky. I don't know. I'll be putting some Bondo in that, but as far as that goes. And then this piece right here, like I said, I'm going to cut these tacks out and hammer that down and, you know, get it down there where it's supposed to be. This right here is not level, but I mean, if I try to bevel that anymore, I'm not going to have anything holding over here, and then I'm not going to have anything to weld it to. So I'm trying to be careful. I may go ahead, cut this piece out, and you know, reline everything up and try that again. We'll have to see. I've got to get this piece up here out, you know, that's above this, that, you know, has been in so bad. And then I can look in there and I can work it and hammer it out, and you know, I can work it better than I can from working it over the fender well. Left-handed, I can work in there right-handed and maybe get it hammered out. And if I can't, maybe I can cut it. I have to see what I've got left under this to see if I can actually cut this down here like that and then get this all level back out. See, this right here is flat. This right here, you know, it needs to be ground down, but this right here is flat, and this is down, so this all needs to come out. And I'll just have to go, you know, get this cut out, get this piece cut out. And I may trim that down some and I may not. I may just leave it the way it is. I don't really like this in this curve, but that's going to be one of my strongest spots to be able to weld it and cover it up at the same time. And then up here, I went up against the curve. You know, I didn't go over, I just went to it, and then that way I've got, you know, already have a curved surface a little bit, so I can, you know, if I have to work it with Bondo, I think it'll be a little easier to do. But anyway, let me figure this out. I'm gonna try to get this piece cut out and fit this piece in today. This has got a lot of Bondo on it because it was worked back in the day on the car that I pulled it off of. You know, it had rust all in here. That's why I cut up here. And then this is where some of the Bondo had flaked off, because it was a good 1/4 inch thick on this. It's not, you know, in bad shape there. I don't know why they had so much Bondo on it unless they just came out real far here and you know, thought if they caked it in there it would last longer. Well, that's not how Bondo works. The thinner it is, the better it is. But you know, they were patching rust with Bondo and didn't want it to come through fast. And you know, you want to do something cheap for somebody and make it look good, which is basically what I'm doing right now. I'm just gonna do it as cheap as I can, make it look good, and it'll be okay for me to drive. You know, nobody's gonna drive it but me, maybe my grandkids, maybe my son. But you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just for me. It's not gonna be raced. It's, you know, it'll be roadworthy, but it's, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be a show car. But anyway, let me get off of here and get this cut out, and I'll get back with you. I'm not gonna put it on video because everybody's seen, you know, somebody cutting the panel out. But anyway, we'll talk to you in a little bit. Okay, it is Sunday evening, and I've got this part fitted up here. Some of my gaps are a little wide. That's easily fixed. Most of them, for the most part, are pretty good. Some of them are pretty wide, but like I said, that's pretty easily fixed. I've got this right here, which is a copper pad that basically does the same thing as the copper pliers. You know, you can put it on there and it'll level everything out, and then you can weld, and it won't, you know, it won't just blast everything apart. It welds without welding the piece to it. And you know, it's just like these pliers right here for plug welding that I have. You know, copper piece, you put it over your spot welds. If you drilled your spot welds and you have the hole all the way through, you put this on the back of it, and you can fill in that hole with your rosette weld and not just keep burning up your metal. But there's how it fits. It's pretty good. It's not the best, but like I said, I'm not a body man, but I'm going to be one by the time I'm done with this. And that's all I'm going to do tonight, because I've got to go home tonight, and not sure what I just did there. I've got to go home and eat and get prepared for tomorrow. After midnight, I don't get to do nothing but drink water. As soon as I wake up in the morning, I've got to drink water. And then I got to take, 2 pills that make me sit on the porcelain god for the whole day, and then, drink or to get things started. And then I got to drink a whole bottle of, Miralax mixed with 64 ounces of orange Kool-Aid. No blue, no red, no purple, because it changes the inside of your guts and they think you got something wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna get probed Tuesday. Hopefully things come out good on that. Like I said, my fit test came back positive, so keep me in your prayers that things are gonna come back. I won't be here tomorrow, so I won't be making a video. You don't want to see what I'll be doing tomorrow. And then Tuesday, if I get done with everything Tuesday, whatever they tell me to do, if they tell me to, take it easy for the day, that's what I got to do. So, this is what I got done in the couple of hours that I've been here. And when I come back, I'll get my welder set up and get to welding this up. Hopefully I can do a better job of it this time, because I can't afford a quarter. So anyway, there you go. We'll talk to you later. See y'all.